Oh my gosh. Hang on a second. Oh, 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night. Must be, no, it's not Wednesday. Hey, why was my alarm going off on a Monday? This isn't right. It's not the right time of week for me doing a live stream. Hi there, good people. It's Jason here at Green Country Agroforestry. Yeah, it's not the right time of week for me to be doing a live stream, but I got some stuff in the mail and I wanted to share it with you real quick because I do have to get it open and get it out there in the garden pretty quick because it's perishable. Well, some of it's not perishable. I got more than one thing in the mail. I got something from Vicky. I got something from Sean. And I got something from my daughter a while back. And because today, 25 years ago, just a few hours ago, my daughter entered the world. Today's her birthday. I want to say happy birthday to my daughter, Jessica. She sent me these a while back, and I have one of her cookies left that she sent me for Christmas. So I'm going to enjoy my last Christmas cookie. This one is an almond shortbread cookie. That's pretty good. This is one of the things I got in the mail. Of course. Oh, that's pretty nice. I'm going to have a little bit of copy of that. Of course, Vicky's talking about being able to use what she sent. And I got to tell you guys, the thing that Vicky sent me is really cool. It is this right here, guys. It's called scrap steading. That the green screen makes the green parts. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's called scrap steading. This is a book for prosperous homesteading on any budget with a foreword by Joel Salatin, written by Billy Bond and Matt Hunley. That's right. That's right. Billy wrote a book. Way to go. Way to go. Here it says, blessing to you and yours, signed to Billy. It's a signed copy. Vicky got me a signed copy. He might be signing all of them for all I know. But I'm not going to read this entire thing to you. In the foreword, I won't even read the entire foreword. In the foreword, Joel says a phrase that I used to get from my own grandmother a lot, which was use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without, because she was from a generation that got through the Depression, and that was the words that people lived by. And of course, growing up on the farm, we did a lot of scrap steading. That's how you get by whenever you're out in the country. You've got to find things that get the job done for you, or allow you to get the job that you're needing to get done accomplished wherever you happen to find those materials, and you have to get them within the budget that you can afford too. So sometimes, yeah, you're doing pretty much all the time, you're doing a lot of repurposing of stuff. So this is a story about how to do just that for people that haven't had a lifetime of being a farm kid and trying to get by with whatever you can scrounge up. So it tells you a few methods for getting materials. And of course, here, let me see. I think we were on page 36 through 37. Right here on 36 through 37, Billy is relating a story that I figured that you guys might find interesting. I'm going to read just this excerpt here to you, so maybe you can decide for yourself the quality of the book and whether you would like to go get your own copy of Scrap Steading from, of course, Permapastures Farm, because I thought this was actually worth something. Let me just read this out to you and see what you think. As a journeyman union electrician, I've often found myself having to travel to wherever the jobs were. This often meant working for several months in one location, then moving on to the next. At one time, I worked for 4 years on a job about 2.5 hours from my farm. It was a manufacturing facility where they built the components for Facebook data centers and such. As I was working on this job, I would occasionally have a conversation with some of the movers and shakers on the job, whether it was my foreman or the general foreman. No matter who I'm around, I always try to find a way to talk permaculture, and some of them began to demonstrate at least a little bit of interest. One of my foremen, Jody, was a big-time gardener. I went to his property for a free consultation, helping him replace a pine tree stand that had to go with a blueberry orchard. That's a pretty good replacement. You're going to have fairly acidic soil after you've had a pine tree stand, and the blueberries will like that kind of soil to grow on. Anyway, I began to do more free consultations for anyone who would allow me to. Slowly, I opened up a door to try the impossible: farm at work. There were several buildings on the site and about 20 acres, including a barren area closest to the building that I worked in that mostly consisted of dirt and construction debris. I finally approached Jody. You've got all this vacant land out here. Have you ever thought of doing anything with it? How cool would it be to plant a food forest or orchard? I pitched the idea of creating a bit of an oasis in the smoke break area. Later, I brought up the idea with the general foreman and got a firm, yeah, I don't really care. It doesn't look like we're doing anything with it. I drew up a paper sketch at lunch consisting of an on-contour swale on a 100-foot side of the building and two simple lines of fruit and nitrogen-fixing trees, kind of a Stefanik Subkoviak trio system, right? Or David's Grocery Row Garden, just straight. It's the same thing, right? It's all the same thing. Variations on the theme in any case. I presented the sketch to him and let him stew on it. I let him know they wouldn't really have to do anything and that I'd be building it on my own dime. After a few weeks, I finally got to go for it. I laid out a micro swale with an A-frame level and dug it out by hand. Then I added a cover crop and diverted the downspouts on the building into the swale so it filled up with every rain event. The employees and employers alike started taking notice as the denuded, dead, lifeless dirt was now being transformed into fruit trees, cover crops, and blueberry bushes. I had my food forest, but thought, what can I add to this? So in my little spare time, I started building a chicken tractor out of scrap materials. I don't think they really thought I was going to do it, so their jaws hit the floor when I showed up one morning with a flock of chickens. Soon the other employers in the area started noticing, we're talking employers, not employees, but employers, other businesses, started taking notice and began asking if I could do it at their places. By the time I left to move to North Carolina, I had access to in excess of 30 acres and even had an agreement to run cattle. So that is on page 36 and 37 of Scrapsteading. And Billy is talking about literally walking into a position where he does have his farm, but the situation where he's going into, he does not have anything except having the courage to ask the question, hey, does anybody mind if I do this? And then whenever he gets the yes, this leads to creating more and more opportunities to the point where he's got 30 acres that he could farm on, including an offer to run cattle. That's kind of big. That's beef. That's food. That's real food in your belly with no land of your own, effectively. That's, I don't know. Do you find stuff like that valuable? If you do, Scrapsteading by Billy Bond and Matt Hundley, available at Permapastures Farm. This is not a paid advertisement. I thought the book was really good. I thought it was good. So there you go. That's my book review. Vicky sent me this. Thank you, Vicky. And of course, that's not the only thing I got in the mail. Not the only thing. Hello, Sass Press. Hello, John. Hello, Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Let me see. Oh, I couldn't agree more. One of the most valuable assets is an imagination that sees possibility and never saw the inside of a box. Because whenever you have a blank canvas of imagination, you can imagine anything. And if it's something that you theoretically can possibly do, you can set your mind to accomplishing it. And that's a lot better than having choices handed to you by somebody else. Yep. Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. John says, I'll have to look for you an address and send you a book. If you go to our website, greencountryagroforestry.com, you will find our address and the contact information. That is actually where we are. You can look on Google Maps and find us. Yep. We're here. We're really here. Carolyn says, hi from North Florida. And that is that. Let me see here. What's he saying? There's always at least one more snap or last frost date. I'm thinking probably about the 15th is going to be ours. I mean, it's probably going to be before then, but to be on the safe side, I think about the 15th this year is going to be good. We can have 10th to 12th, 11th maybe on early spring years, and this does look like an early spring year, but I'm just going to wait until the 15th, and then I'm going to go with my direct sowing on the 15th. I had planned on doing seed starts, but things got fast. Spring came on me really quick. Oh, and speaking of coming on me really quick, we got something for spring right here. This is from Sassafras Red, who is in the audience there tonight. That's right. I ran out here and ran out to the oh wow, you put little decorative curly cues on the top of the box and everything. I ran out to the mailbox as soon as this arrived, because live plants and closed up mailboxes don't go well together. There is shipping label off right there. There we go. Okay. So now I cut the label off. You can see he put little decorative curly cues there. Oh, the wife did that. Well, thank you very much. There we go. Now this is if you guys have been following chat, you already know what this is. Maybe. Oh, there's more in here. There's other stuff in here. All right. We have got elderberry meadow. Oh, I can smell it from over here. Elderberry meadow handcrafted herbal soap. Yeah. For all skin types with elderberry, mint, and yarrow. That feels really nice too. That cake feels pretty nice. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad smell. There we go. So we have a little soap. I might wind up washing with this. It smells pretty good. Mint in a soap would be nice for your skin. If you have cuts and scratches, it'll stop them from getting infected, make them heal up faster, right? This is, it's alive. It's green. There's something alive in here. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, I know what it is. I know what this one is. This is, he said something about a red garlic that they've got. This is garlic. So I want to get this transplanted out quick. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Right down there at the bottom. Oh, well, I guess it is showing. It's got a little bit of a red on the stem there. That's pretty cool. Is this a soft neck or a hard neck? Frisco garlic, he says. There we go. Frisco garlic. But he says it's a good storage garlic. But here's the part I've really been looking forward to. Which is funny, right? I've been trying to grow these. I've been spreading seeds around, hoping some of them will germinate. A couple of them have come up. But in the interest of growing certain plants to attract certain insects or animals, I wanted to have nettles going. Not only because they're a good spring tonic and full of medicinal properties, and they're edible and such, but also nettles are a good trap crop. Urtica dioica, the stinging nettle, is a good trap crop for aphids. They come up early and they get the aphids early, and that attracts lots and lots of ladybugs. So by the time everything else comes out, you've got a population of ladybugs that's ready to take off and go. And this is an Urtica dioica stinging nettle. Well, it maybe a little. It's not bad. It's not. That's a pretty mild nettle. Ooh, it's got a little bit of afterbite. Yeah, that'll work. That'll definitely work. And of course, medicinal properties and well, you can't see it. Hang on a second. Let me turn the green screen off. Hang on just a second here. There we go. Flip the background color to blue real quick. So there we go. Now you can see the foliage. It definitely has sting. I managed to, didn't do much on my hand, but on the tender part of my my forearm, that was tender enough to feel the sting from it. There we go. Just a little bit of that mild sting, but then lots and lots of endorphin release. General feeling of well-being associated with scourging yourself with stinging nettles and joy. Yeah. Okay, now I got to rub this spot. Get those little hairs knocked loose. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Sean. This is great. This is great. Yeah, I get these guys spread out in the morning. I've got a spot that that I'm planning on turning into a more of a marsh garden. So there's going to be water chestnuts in there. I got started pulling the get that turned over here, and I've got the where's the picture for that area? I think I actually have a I think I have a picture here that I can share. Where is that thing? That's not it. I could swear I had it. Hang on. There we go. Back to general. There we go. Virtual background. There we go. Maybe I took it out. I might have taken it out. I can add it back in. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. There it is. So I have this thing. Let me change the background real quick. There we go. So I have this thing in the backyard. That's the water chestnuts on top of the little stock pond or stock tank pond in the back. And I pulled up the basket with peat moss that had the water chestnuts. And I pulled that up and discovered that they had grown down through the bottom of the baskets, and they were making water chestnuts in the water. So a whole bunch of water chestnuts. I had a whole bunch of them, but I'm thinking about moving those to a permanent marshy area, and the area just on the other side of the stock tank, in between the stock tank and that little corner section of allium bed, is a lot lower than everything else around it. So it looks like that's going to kind of naturally want to be a little bit of a marshy area. I've got moss volunteering there already. And so having moss that wants to grow there on the ground in that spot indicates that it's probably not going to be hard to keep it nice and moist. So that's the spot we're going to relocate the water chestnuts to, and we'll just have a little area of water chestnuts all around the backside of that pond instead of growing over the top of the pond. And that gives me more room on the surface for duckweed to feed the goldfish. And I'm not sure if the goldfish made it in that particular pond through the winter, because I haven't seen any sign of them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they died off. Might mean that something caught them and ate them. That's always a possibility. We're on the flight path for a few predatory birds, and the ducks have managed to get out back into that area. The ducks could also eat a goldfish a smaller one, if they felt so inclined. So there's always a possibility that a bird came along and helped itself, or a raccoon came back there and helped itself during the night to my goldfish. Fortunately, they're cheap, and I can go get more. So I'll probably be going and grabbing a few more goldfish, taking them out, throwing them into the stock tank, or at least one into the stock tank to prevent the mosquitoes from growing in there. I might do some experimenting with crayfish hides too, perhaps. Maybe making a little crayfish habitat, because there's a good chance that those stock tank ponds will attract crayfish to live at the bottom of them. And of course, they're going to build up some sediment at the bottom that'll allow me to, probably beginning next year, put water lilies in them. But I should have ordered water lily if I was going to have it by now, because it's about time. Zasperus is saying calendula flowers stop the sting. The sting is stopped now, by the way. It lasted however long that was. If you guys have been keeping track of when I brushed the inner side of my arm, the sting is now gone. That's about how much time it takes for the sting to stop. So it wasn't bad, not bad at all. Vicky is saying, if I recall right, stinging nettles will pull excess nitrogen from the soil. They will, and that's the reason why they're good for serving as a trap crop for the aphids. Excess nitrogen in plants creates a condition where the aphids are attracted to all of that sugar, because that's it turns into sugar in the plant. The aphids go and attack the plant, suck the sap, produce honeydew. The ants eat the honeydew. That's why they protect the aphids. If the ants are protecting the aphids, then the ladybugs can't get to the aphids to destroy them. But you don't even have to worry about that if you've got rock wall and lizard habitat and something to stop the ants from marching one by one to protect the aphids in the first place. And you don't do anything to kill off your ladybugs. So we're going to have lots and lots and lots of ladybugs. This is going to be great. This version of stinging nettle is a little bit different from the native one that we have growing here. The native one that we have growing here is it's a vigorous and thorny looking thing. It doesn't look nice at all. But the stings are not quite as severe for all of that. There's larger spines but fewer of them, if that makes any sense. So if you're trying to get that histamine response that you get from rubbing a stinging nettle across an area where you have arthritis, pain, or inflammation, one of the things that those little tiny prickles do is they stimulate a response of that helps alleviate pain, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Vicky is saying experimental farm work has Apios americana seeds and improved tubers for sale this year. That's cool. I might wait another season or two before I try growing them again. They never came up. I don't know. They looked like they were maybe okay whenever I first put them in. It's just I don't think they survived in the ground after that, unfortunately. Anyway, we can try them again. Ground nut is Apios americana. It's a vining nitrogen fixing tuber. It's kind of cool. Let me see here. Of course, you guys know about the cover crop seeds that we got in the mail not too long ago. Sanfoin, we had buckwheat left over from last year, more daikon radish, more sugar beet, and chicory. Let's put chicory in here. I managed to misplace my cabbage seeds. I have no idea where I put. You remember the sowing early cabbage seeds? 1 pound of cabbage seeds. I don't know where I put them. I put them down somewhere, but I don't know where. I also don't know where I put the bag of alfalfa that was out there too. So if anybody remembers where I put my cabbage seeds, just kindly let me know in the comments below, and I will go look there, because I think I've torn the entire house apart looking. And we've been doing a lot of cleanup and clean out operation, and everything is everywhere. It's thoroughly possible we may have accidentally thrown away about 5 or 6 pounds of seeds by accident. Bilbo hid the cabbage seeds. Maybe. Just maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Talking about things in the mail. We're not going to have, I'm going to have to turn off the green screen again, aren't I? We're not going to have water chestnuts for sale this year. I know you had your heart set on it. We're not going to have them for sale this year. What we are going to have for sale, and these are going to be up for sale, listed here in about, I think, 10 or 11 more days, are these guys right here. Now, this one I'm just cleaning up because we're going to have it for dinner. Well, not tonight, tomorrow. This is an Egyptian walking onion right here. Top setting onion. It's Allium proliferum. Pardon me. We sell these in bundles of 1 dozen for $20. Yay. $20, 1 dozen Egyptian walking onions. It's a perennial top set onion. You take these, you allow them to grow, they'll produce bulbils at the top, like a wild onion, but they're a lot bigger, much bigger. They'll produce bulbils at the top, just like a wild onion does. You can take those off. You can eat them if you want. Some of them are fairly decent size, but you also can take them, separate them out, and plant them and produce more onions. You're probably going to get 12 more plants off of your first one in your first year. After that is over, this plant, if you didn't harvest it, whenever spring comes around, it'll reproduce from the bulb as well. So you'll have got the bulbils off the top during the season, then it'll reproduce from down here, and you'll divide them up again, and divide them again, and divide them again, and divide them again. And like I said, you start with 12, multiply that by 12. If you divide them for your first year and don't eat any, within 2 years, you're going to have onions for a lifetime. You'll never need to buy onions from anyone ever again. So we will have that available here beginning on the 15th of March. Where will it be available? Well, that's an interesting question. If we manage to get the Shopify page launched, the Shopify store launched properly, and it works the way it's supposed to, then we'll have them on Shopify exclusively. How do you find our Shopify page, do you ask? Well, that's pretty simple. Go to any one of our videos except for a live stream, because it doesn't show up on live streams, and look underneath the video, and then the banner underneath there's going to be a little pop-up that actually has our store. Right now, the only thing that's for sale up there is the Big Horse Spotted Corn pack seeds, 16 grams, 100 plus seeds for $4.99. I haven't changed the price. Don't see any reason to. We've got plenty. Go ahead and start ordering, and we'll find out if there are any problems with that shopping cart app. When I was starting up the Wix shopping cart app, yeah, I know we went through Wix for the main website. When I was starting up that shopping cart app, the very first couple of orders that went through had some hiccups with shipping costs and zones and regions and stuff like that, and we might have to go through an order or two to figure out if there are any hiccups. But on the bright side, I've done this once before already with a different app, so hopefully some of those same mistakes I didn't make in the initial part of setting this one up. In any case, Allium proliferum, Egyptian walking onion, available at Green Country Agroforestry here in about 10 days. There you go. And yeah, hard freeze doesn't affect these. These guys will die off for just maybe about a month or two in the middle of your winter, and then they come roaring right back, and they come back fast. They are hardy, and they go, well, at least as far up as Illinois. Sasspress Red has some. They're doing pretty good for it. Yep. And Vicky is saying, can they survive winter without being harvested and stored? Yes. I mean, you leave them in the ground. This is one of the things that you can leave in the ground, and definitely you can leave them in the ground in Arkansas. They work just like a wild onion, but they are much easier to propagate than wild onions. Yeah, when you get those little bulbils, just wander around and go poke one in the ground here and there, poke one in the ground, poke one in the ground, poke one in the ground. Even if they get kind of dried out before you get around to breaking them up, putting them in the ground, just pop them in the ground. Don't worry about it. A couple of weeks later, you'll see the thing coming up, and then by the next year, the thing is multiplied into its entire colony all by itself. They are fantastic. I mean, really, they are. They are amazing. So we're going to have those available. Yay! We're actually putting some products together that hopefully people will like. And I'm going to have another bite of this cookie. Oh. Grandma was a good baker too. Mom couldn't cook. I can cook, but I can't bake really well. So it had to skip a couple of generations, but Jess can cook. She can bake. Yeah, that's the way these guys work. You turn your back on them, and they just explode. They'll fill up an entire area. I kind of like plants like that. Stuff that the problem is more that it will take over than you won't get enough, because then you have an entirely different type of problem. I don't like weeding, but whenever it's necessary to weed in order to thin your thing because you're harvesting, then that's great. Just keep on harvesting. In any case, whenever these things get full size, I think I've shown one of these on the channel before, but they're going to get maybe 3-4 foot that you can use. And this lower part gets bigger and bigger. It'll get bigger around my thumb. Not maybe not twice, but maybe that much. Those 2 fingers right there. Maybe that wide. Not 2 thumbs wide. thumb and a half, maybe. Pretty thick. Pretty thick. And about 3 foot of the greens that you can use too. And then they get woody and you can't use them. But you can use these like green onions. And of course, you can harvest the entire thing if you want to. And it very, very potent onion flavor. All right, let me put this thing away. That's about it. That's what I got in the mail, I think. Did I get anything else in the mail? Nope, that's about it. That's about it. So, how you guys been doing? Been doing all right? Doing good? Yeah? Yeah? Did you check out that last video I did? When was that? This morning? We had, oh shoot, I should turn my green screen back on, shouldn't I? Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Let's see. I gotta change this. I gotta change it. I don't like the background. I gotta change it. I'm gonna make it look like that again. There we go. Let's see. Jasper's busy making beds. Oh yeah. I don't know if I'm going to need the gopher proof beds for too much longer. The cats are really taken to the job of hunting down rodents. They're taking it seriously. Well, Bilbo is. He I might catch him on camera one of these days, but he'll follow me around, and I'll go around with a poker, something I can, like either a stick or a piece of rebar, so I can get down into the top of a burrow and see if it's active or not. See if there's, if you can punch a hole in there. But he'll follow along behind me if I find a burrow and I pop a hole and I go, "Hey, Bill, come here." He'll come over, and once he gets a sniff at it, he just jumps on it. He starts tearing after that burrow, trying to get at the rodent inside. So we've got a good groundhog hunter, hopefully, or maybe not groundhog, a good gopher hunter, perhaps. We'll see. Hopefully, we can keep them from eating too much stuff. But if I was reading what Vicky was right in there, the annuals act like perennials because they reseed themselves prolifically. Yeah, those are good too. A lot of your amaranth are like that. Worcestershire Project Off Grid is saying watching ads. Watching ads. That's so nice. We have ads. We have ads. Oh. So anyway, what I was going to say is, did you guys catch that latest video that I did? Not the one where I'm teaching the cat how to ring the doorbell. That was cute. That's short. I mean the one where I went around to the 3 different spots in the backyard. All 3 spots are covered in the same area, right? Way back a couple of years ago, I went out and sheet mulched that entire backyard. I sheet mulched the entire backyard, and I put somewhere between 8 to 12 inches of wood chips down over that sheet mulch across the entire backyard. And then I proceeded to do peas and okra and some other stuff in there while we were waiting for all that organic matter to work its way in. But the everything that was done with the backyard was uniform to a certain point, and then things started to change. Towards the end of last season, I just let the ducks clean up in the corn patch. I didn't do anything else other than let them go in there, and they were there throughout the entire winter. Right towards the end of the winter, I opened up and let them go into a little bit of where the wheatgrass was. So they got at some of it, a little bit in there, but having just different zones where I had done a little bit differently could give you an idea or contrast what it looks like. Here we have an area that's nothing done to it; it's bare, and the soil winds up being essentially capped. There's bare ground. Whenever it rains, it just packs the soil down, and you saw how it just formed this little wafer, right? But just this dense wafer that's horrible. And then we had the area where I didn't plant a cover crop. I was just letting whatever was there in the soil germinate and grow to hold things in. And the geranium will grow and it'll spread. It's got a really good root system for holding soil down, but it doesn't cover everywhere. And since nothing else was really growing in that spot, we had bare ground and it was getting dry as a bone to the point where you can just, blow it away. Bad news. I've got that fixed now. Well, it's getting fixed now. And that'll be a subject of another video. We'll kind of pick up where we left off. When I said I need to get it fixed, that meant that the next thing I have to do is put up a fence so the ducks won't be able to get over there while the seeds are germinating. So I did that, and then we seeded cover crop in it, and then we watered it in, and now a couple of days are going to go by, and probably next week you'll be able to see the progress. In any case, biochar in production, he says. Oh, what's this? What's this? Grow bags, bug netting, 900 plant levels, gloves, pH tester, blood meal, peat moss, manure, all here. Yep. Billy's getting ready to go to town. Go into town. Vicky's been having daffodils bloom. We have had daffodils blooming also. It's kind of why I picked that background, because we've got them coming up. Some the plain yellow ones. I guess the ones that Grandma used to call jonquils. I don't know that they are, but the very, very basic plain yellow ones have been up before anything else. And I've got a lot of these two-tone yellow ones that I planted that I hope are gonna do well. Hopefully, I'll be able to find them all later, and someday I want to have daffodils for sale. I don't know that I really need to have daffodils for sale. Everybody has daffodils, but they're nice. They're pretty. They come up early. The voles, moles, and other critters don't like to eat them. So if they're out there on the perimeter, they may be of some benefit. It's slowing those critters down. And if nothing else, hey, they're pretty and they're a source for food for pollinators early on in the spring. And by golly, early in the spring, you want to have something pretty to look at after all of that brown and snow and gray in the sky and everything. It's just nice to have something popping up that's pretty, by golly. Sassarus talking about a place that sells beans from the Appalachian area, heirlooms.org. I see. I'll have to check them out. Heirloom beans. We've gone around and we planted a lot of Seminole pumpkin. We're going to plant the actual real pumpkins. Okay, I should probably explain what I'm saying because it sounds like I'm babbling like an idiot. All around this area, we have lots of unincorporated and unused area, kind of playing on that theme where Billy was using land that nobody else was doing anything with and just went, hey, is it okay if I go and use this to start a food forest? Really, you could do this anywhere. Just you see an area, somebody's responsible for taking care of it, mowing it, whatever. Find them and go, hey, would you mind if I did this? And describe what you'd like to do in the way of management. And in a lot of cases, sometimes, or not every time, but in a lot of cases, if you can make the convincing case for it, the person that's stuck with the job of maintaining it will go, yeah, that sounds like less work for me. Let's see how that works. And it never hurts to make the ask, right? But of course, we have here a greenbelt area that's completely and totally unincorporated and untended by anyone, and an Army Corps of Engineers area just on the other side of the levee system, which once again, not tended by anyone. There's no permanent habitation. Obviously, if you're going to go plant and grow stuff there, you're going to have to plant stuff that's going to be able to take care of itself. And of course, the Cucurbita machata Seminole pumpkin certainly fits that bill. It can take care of itself. You don't really have to do anything to it to make it survive. We're going to do a few other things out there. Take out some Jerusalem artichokes and other stuff and get those little stands of them established. So little stands, Seminole pumpkins, little stands of Jerusalem artichokes, perhaps little stands of canna lily as well on the other side of the levee, because over there where the river is, you'll still get occasional inundation, flooding, right? So that area will get moist enough that the canna will do perfectly fine over there, and that's just food waiting, able to take care of itself for the most part, and waiting for the day that there's a need for it, if there is a need for it. That way, this particular area will be able to feed a few people in an emergency because it's already out there. Yep. So that's the plan. We're gonna be expanding the garden out into the wilderness a bit more this year, using some of those things. And I might begin just. Oh, you can't see the rest of the plant. I might begin spreading around some more of these Allium proliferum in the neighborhood too. We'll see. We will see. See how that works out. M10R says, "Do you have favorite sprouting seeds? Lost the home, now moving to a motel. Oh no, that's terrifying." If we're talking about sprouting seeds for microgreens, my favorite are amaranth because they make so many seeds. You plant a few of those, and then once you've got the plants in your yard, you plant them as flowers in your yard. Once they grow and they produce those seed heads, and those seed heads could have a pound or two of seeds in each one of them. Collect the seed heads, gather your seeds, and you've got, in the course of collecting the seed heads, you will most likely shake out enough to reseed that entire area, and then you just thin them out. After that, the next year, whenever they come up, you just thin them out until you have the plants that you want to collect seeds from again. Collect all of those seeds, and then whenever you want to go sprout microgreens, you spread them out in your tray, and you just make your own supply of seeds for sprouting. Vicky says curcubits have to be transplanted. Really? Oh, they hate to be transplanted. Sorry. That's right. I was like, hang on. That's not my experience. I was misreading it. I was like, yeah, they hate to be transplanted. Hate to. Why did I read that? Why did I read that as have? It's like, what? No, that's not right. They don't like it at all. Yeah, they hate to be transplanted. They really do. And some of these, like your bigger Cucurbita machata, you can't do the thing that I do with like beans. If I wanted to get beans started out and transplanted, which is crazy. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. Where you have a 2-inch PVC plastic collar, you cut it off to about 2 inches or so. So it's 2 inches around, 2 inches tall, and you can take this and pack your starting mix into the very bottom about an inch or so, and then put the loose over the top of that, put your seed in, firm it slightly, put it on a tray. It sub-irrigates, and whenever you're ready to separate, it's kind of like using soil blocks, except it's just the permanent thing. You just pop that right out, take your PVC pipe, and you're ready to go use it again. But for squashes, even that is a little bit too much, because that disturbance that you get whenever you remove the ring, they won't like it. So you want to leave it in place. But then you've got a problem. Some of these squashes, that vine will be bigger around than that 2-inch collar. And if you have something like that around it, it'll restrict the vine, and it won't grow as well. But you can do the same sort of idea by taking a solo cup, right? And pardon, a red solo cup. There you go. I'm cutting a little bit shallow. You can a little bit more. Cut the bottom off the solo cup, right? And then you can separate it on this side whenever you plant it out. And your vine can expand to as big as it needs to get. Putting a little thing like this, you probably want to cut it further down if you're using the solo cup. I haven't actually had to do this yet. This is the thing if you had to. Where are they at? Using something like this can also stop a cutworm from attacking your plant. It gets to the barrier and goes, oh, what do I do here? All right. We here all week. Tip your waitress. Try the deal. So Billy says, "Why put squash peas in the seed tray? Blame the lie we did for egging her on." Keep telling her this shit. Watching a good cup because. How do you know that one was a good cup? It was in the misbehaving. It was in the misbehaving solo cup pile. Anyway, let me see. So pumpkin seeds, yay! Pumpkin seeds, and a lot of your gourds and squashes too. And I'm looking for the specialty tool that we use for that. Specialty tool used for used for preparing your gourd seeds. You just take your pair of fingernail clippers or toenail clippers right at the very edge of the seed coat, and you just take the corner of the clippers, and right there at the edge of the seed. I'm using my thumbnail as an example. You just make a little tiny little notch. That's all. Just you can't see my thumb. Tiny little notch, and yeah, I know it's sticking up, and it's going to be irritating now. But that tiny little notch is all you need, because you need something that's going to allow the moisture to penetrate the seed coat to get the seed inside to begin to germinate. This is the biggest problem with getting those larger squash or gourd seeds to start, is sometimes the seed coat is just so hard that it's difficult for the water to penetrate, the moisture to penetrate. So put a tiny little nick right there at the edge of the seed coat. Water gets through, germinates just fine. If you ever have problems getting your pumpkin, squash, and gourds to germinate, we're not at the right time of the year to do pumpkin, squash, and gourds yet. So the thing that I did in the green belt was taking my old pumpkins, the ones that we did not get around to eating, that did not make it all the way through the winter. I started taking those and began just like taking these soft decaying Seminole pumpkin bodies and just dropping them in the woods right at the edge of the tree line. So over the next month or so, they're going to sit there and finish rotting down and getting this all stuck in a spot where they can germinate and grow. And that's typically the way they get going in the wilderness. Hopefully we can get a few to nativize out there in the woods, and we'll just have pumpkins growing wild in the woods. Yeah. Vicky is saying Seed Treasures has open pollinated pumpkin with naked seeds and delicious meat. That sounds perverted. That sounds naughty. Don't say it like that. Naked seeds. It's family show. Can't show naked seeds. All right. So Billy's missus was trolled into seeding summer squash and zucchini. Well, the thing that I like about Seminole pumpkin particularly is it's got a tough vine that I've seen vine borers get into it, and it did not care. It just kept going. It said, "Okay, fine, yeah, sure, whatever. Eat all you want. I'll make more," and it did. It just kept going. Wonderful plant, especially if you got a problem with vine borers. Excellent plant, but also problem that we often have with summer crookneck squash, yellow squash. You can get the straight neck variety too, variations of the theme, right? And zucchini. All those squash are, although they're wonderful, you can put them in a salad. You can fry them. You can saute them. You can stew them if you want to. Although why, I don't know. Maybe you don't have teeth, and that's the way you got to eat them. I won't judge. But they're all really susceptible to vine borer. If you're anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line, you have a hard time growing those summer squash because of the bug. But the Seminole pumpkin, because it doesn't care, will produce squash. And whenever they're green, you can treat them exactly like you treat your zucchinis or your crookneck squash. Cut it up, put it in your salad, bread it, fry it, saute it. It actually has a firmer flesh and a better taste, I think, than the zucchini did. So there you go. Like he's saying that naked pumpkin seeds are used as oil seeds and are nutritious and delicious. I love pumpkin seeds. I really do. And if you're looking for good sources, what is that? Magnesium, I think it is. You can find magnesium in pumpkin seeds. Got to do something to help with those cramps and muscle twitches and such that magnesium deficiency can lead to. Have you heard those commercials advertising supplements because you may be suffering from magnesium deficiency? You run through all those lists and go, oh geez, I think I may be suffering from magnesium deficiency. Either that or I'm working and I'm tired. One of the two. But the next thing you know, you're buying supplements because you got to take care of your health. Well, what if you had your supplement in the form of the food that you grew? Well, what a novel idea. There you go. Pumpkin seeds loaded with magnesium. They're good for you. You need some magnesium in your diet. Billy is having success with tomatoes, but not with the peppers. Give it some time. Peppers take a little bit longer, and sometimes they need a little bit more encouragement. You were talking about seeds, Billy, but I don't know that you were actually planting anything. Eggplants on vacation? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, you were in the talking about it stage and showing us all the seeds that you had. You had a lot of seeds, like I think 3 whole seed vaults worth of seeds that you were going through. Lots and lots of seeds. Seeds, lovely seeds. Do you think I should try? Do you think I should try planting these this year? These are carrots. Should I try planting carrots? I kind of want to try carrots. You know what I want to try? I want to try yard-long beans again. I planted a couple. Was it last year? Year before last? And I got like one that produced okay, and I saved that one for seed, and I didn't eat it. We ate a couple more, but they didn't really do incredibly well. But I did have one that produced. I'm thinking maybe we'd save the seeds from that one and try it again maybe this year. I've got a lot of places that I know that I'm not going to move the fencing around again. So I'm already starting with putting the Cherokee Trail of Tears beans along the more or less permanent fence line because it's going to be there. And then here in the next day or two, I want to go and set up some vertical trellises along the back fence. West side, close to the northwest side over there. I'll set them up 8 foot, half cattle panel straight up with T-posts to hold them up, and that will be a place where maybe we can train some pumpkins. And I'm going to try to have them a little bit further back away from the middle of the garden because they took over way too much space, just way too much space. But if they fill up the back 40 of the garden in the area where I'm getting ready to tear out everything and build a retaining wall, then I don't think I'd mind too much. As long as they don't overwhelm the onion beds. I'll just have to make sure that we train the vines to go around the onions instead of up and over them. That might be a challenge. You never know. Those vines can grow fast. But one thing we did discover is the leaves are edible. So whenever your pumpkins are taking off and they're growing too vigorously, you can always go and whack them back and throw the tender bits and such into your wok and stir fry it down and turn it into breakfast. It's got records from 2009. It's 2024. 15 years. Yeah, you can get stuff to sprout and grow after 15 years. I think the longest I had seeds sitting around that I got to germinate that I knew how old it was about 17 years. Well, I knew it was at least 17 years old. I didn't know exactly how old, but it was at least 17 years old. Those Anasazi beans, right? But those are from a lineage of beans that were known to be able to be stored for hundreds of years even and still be okay. So there you go. Yeah, the right conditions have to be met. You can't just have them sitting in a bag or in a paper sack somewhere on a shelf and expect them to make it. But as long as the humidity is good and they've been kept away from the critters and kept out of the light, then a lot of times your bean seeds can last for a long time. Other types of seeds can too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You people. Gordon squash infrastructure to build still. Yeah. See, right along that back fence, we've got the neighbor lady's got a couple of pit bulls. One of them is a pretty one. It's kind of like gray and white. Pretty dog, but way too high strung. She likes to come charging up to the fence and bark at me whenever I'm not paying attention. And she's really quiet until she gets right up to the fence. And so, I'm sitting here, I'm working, and I'm not paying attention. Everything's fine. La 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 la. I'm in my garden. Woo 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 woo! Right behind me, right? And I never hear her until she's right behind me. And then they've got another dog. It's more like what do they call it? A brindle, mixed like brown and dark brown and light brownish red. And that one's just a sweetheart. I mean, he barks, but it's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Not like, "I'm gonna get you." So it's more like, "Hi, how you doing? Hi, how you doing?" And then the Bonnie, the pretty one, the one that's like gray and white, she's got issues. She's got issues. It's always the pretty ones that have issues, isn't it? Yeah. See, that's same thing with him. Yeah. It's the pretty ones with issues. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna put that set of cattle panel trellises up back there, and once the pumpkins have grown all over it, I'm not going to see the dog at all. Hopefully, we have some of these. Oh shoot! I got the seeds up here. Stuck them off over to the side. See if I can figure out where I put my cabbage seeds. I'd be happy. I have some here in this box, right? Not the cabbages, but see, oh, yeah. Some cowhorn okra. We'll plant that. Portland Ashira. No, we're not going to plant those. I don't even know why I have those. Do some black diamond watermelon. Oh yeah, black diamond. Those are those round sweet ones, right? Days to maturity 90. We're going to stagger these out. What else do we have? Okay, I've got some fennel here. We'll plant that. A little bit of bouquet dill. Get that going. Not only do we have dill going because that's going to be good for eating, but has those tiny little flowers that are good for hoverflies. Kale, blue Scotch curled. I got some kale in here. I don't know if I'm going to plant this. Ah, there it is. Here we go. Ivy gourd seeds. These guys. I really want to see how these turn out. This is kind of like a one or two of them look like they might have gotten a little bit of mildew on them. Hopefully we'll get some of these to sprout and grow, and we can get ivy gourd. But it's okay. So it's a gourd vine, kind of like a bottle gourd, except instead of making the storage gourd, it makes a little fruit, a little red sweet fruit. It's actually sweet. I'm going to try that out and see how it works. We'll be doing these. We'll do some more bottle gourds this year too. Sasspress, have you planted the bottle gourds yet, or did you get them last year? Because I've got a new batch of gourds that I've got to crack open. So what do you think? Here later on this week, I'll clear off the porch. Now the porch is covered with stuff from the build, right? It's covered with all the offcuts and scrap pieces and stuff. We'll get that cleared off, and while we have the porch set up, you can see what the inside of it looks like. And I'll do prep work on taking a bottle gourd and turning a regular old bottle gourd from. Hang on just a second. I got to go off camera for just a second to show you what I'm going to do. Wait, pardon me. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is perfect. You can't hear it yet. You'll be able to hear it in a minute. All right, so I'm going to go to the process. I'm taking one of these birdhouse bottle gourd. Ta-da! Right. I took these after we pulled them off of the vines, and I stuck them right there underneath our wood stove. Hear that? That's the seeds, right? That's the seeds. It's not that's not a gourd rattle. Those are actual seeds. They're ready to go. This gourd's all dried. It's ready to go. We're gonna tap her open. We're gonna remove the top. We're gonna turn probably the top section into a lid. This one was supposed to have a lid, but I didn't get the lid. But we're gonna transform it so it looks like that. Like that. What do you think? Huh? So from just a wild unfinished gourd to something that actually looks like you might want to have it on your shelf. So we'll do that process. And of course, we'll get the fresh seeds out that will be available for you guys this year. If you want to grow your own birdhouse gourds or bottle gourds, storage gourds, just like these. Yes, they're also edible. You just, whenever you want to eat them while they're green. Once they get big and tough and they start developing the pith in the middle, you don't want to eat them. Well, you avoid the pith in the middle in any case. Let's see. No seed saving our squashes, no crossing guards on duty, 8 to 12 species going in. Well, you know what happens whenever you get a whole bunch of different species that you plant in that are all of the same genus that are cross-pollinating each other? You get a bunch of mutts, right? You get a bunch of mutts, or they'll call it hybrid vigor is another term for it. But really all that is taking those genetic strains that have become speciated and divided from each other and recombining them so they can go, okay, which genes do we have that are going to work best in this context here? That are going to make it work well in this environment. You have all those genes to pull upon. The ones that survive are going to be the ones that you want to keep. That's the best way to land race, is to throw all the genetics you can at it at once. And then the ones that rise to the top, those are the ones that you use. If you're trying to grow and keep heirloom varieties because you want to maintain a pure strain of seed, okay, yeah, that's one thing. And that's one of the reasons why I only grow like one variety of pepper at a time, is just so that I know that I'm not accidentally cross-pollinating and making a hybrid. But that's only because I want to be able to know exactly what that seed was, so I could take it and sell it or do a deliberate crossbreed. If you're doing it for your own survival purpose, your own garden, I'm going to be eating this stuff. Don't worry about what the variety was. Put everything you got in, let them cross-pollinate, and the ones that have the traits that you want, save those and plant those. And the ones that don't have traits that you want, don't save those and don't plant those. And over the few generations, you're going to get stuff that's going to work excellent for where you are. And it may not be the same as everybody else's, and that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. Fun stuff. Who is that? Lofthouse, Landrace Gardening. Great advice on coming up with land races. That's right. Let's make mutts. The mutts are smarter anyway. They survive better. Hey, I somehow managed to spend a whole hour talking about the stuff that we got in the mail, upcoming projects. I think next video I do that you'll see will either be prepping a birdhouse gorge. I need to find the strap of leather that I got for making the lid. Just take a little piece of leather and you hide glue it to the inside after you cut off the top, and then it just fits right on there. And you have a lid that you can take on and put off. It's friction fit. You can use cork too, stuff like that. It doesn't matter, but hide or leather would be something that you'd be likely to have at least some of around if you're growing these and you're hunting and trapping and taking your meat on the hoof, so to speak. You probably have some hides available for making lids for your own little storage containers, storage gourds. These are great for keeping seeds in, incidentally. You keep your seeds in these throughout the winter. The treatment involves covering them with castor bean oil, which, although to my nose, is not a problem. Doesn't smell like anything bad. But to a rodent, a shelf full of these smells like death, and they don't come close to it. So you can keep corn seed in it, and the rats stay away, which is kind of cool because this is not anything that should stop a rat. They could chew right through it. They just won't because they don't like the smell. Anyway, guys, it's been about an hour. I'm going to let you go ahead and get on with the rest of your evenings. I'm going to have to get to bed so I can get up and get at it again in the morning. We're either going to do the chestnuts as for the next video or prepping that bottle gourd for the next video. And of course, coming up here in about 10 days, Egyptian walking onions will be up for sale. And that will either be up for sale on the regular website at greencountryagroforestry.com, or if I've got the kinks worked out with the ordering system for Shopify, which you will find on the replay anyway of this video, just right down below the video on your computer app. I don't know where it shows up on the cell phones. I'm sorry if somebody has cell phones. Let us know where you find the app there. There'll be a tab showing our big horse spotted corn for sale down there, and of course. That works out the way it's supposed to, then we'll be launching Allium proliferum or Egyptian walking onions for sale first on the Shopify app, which means you'll be able to find it right down there after watching a video about maybe how to spread or plant said onions. So all that's coming up. Thanks for joining me tonight. As always, I hope you found the video informative or entertaining. If you did, you know what to do. I will catch you next time. But until then, get out there. Get growing.